Hi, everybody. Welcome to Stamping with Melva. I'm Melva Peters, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in British Columbia, Canada. And you can find me online at stampingwithmelva.com. So this is my sketch challenge for May 23rd. I'm actually pre-recording this before I leave on the incentive trip. I really wanted to make sure that you had sketches to play with while I was away. So this is pre-recording. And on the 23rd of May, I think we're in one of the ports. It might be our first port of Norway. So I might be out and about exploring when this goes live. But I hope you enjoyed this. This is kind of a fun sketch because it's a great way to use up designer series paper. And I've said that before. We all need to use up our designer series paper. If you're like me, you have a lot. And there's nothing better than a card that allows you to use designer series paper. So that was my idea with this sketch. I'm using He's All That, which is a stamp set that carried over. It's masculine, and it carried over into the new annual catalog. And I'm also using the Countryside Inn designer series paper. So a little different, but it's going to be kind of a blue themed, so blue monochromatic. Going to be a little masculine with the He's All That. So ways to combine, designer series paper that you wouldn't necessarily think of being masculine because it's so pretty with all of the lovely kind of folk art images on it. All right, let's switch over and we will get started. So this is the sketch. And if you miss any of the measurements as I'm going through, this sketch will get posted on Facebook and Instagram in about a half hour's time. So you can grab it there. And you can see I've got 3 blocks here in the front, and I'm using designer series paper, which is why I think this is a great sketch for using up your designer series paper. So your card base is 5.5. Now I've actually said 4.25 by 11. You could actually make it that way and have it open up long ways, but I really think you need a 5.5 by 8.5. Layer number 1 is 4 inches by 5.25. And then you need 3 pieces, which are the 3 yellow pieces that are 1.5 by 3.75. That's what I'm using designer series paper for. You could use embossed cardstock. You could just use plain white and create a pattern that way. It's up to you. Layer 3 is this circle. So I've used the 2-inch circle punch. And then, of course, a sentiment. I've 1/2 inch by 3, but you can use whatever you want for your sentiment. So that's the sketch. This is what I'm using. This is the He's All That. Now I used this the other day on a card, and I'm going to use the same stamp. I'm going to stamp the vehicle, the little car, and that's what I'm going to use. And I'm going to cut it out. So I've got a scrap of paper that I'm going to cut and then stamp and then cut out this sentiment. Actually, I could use that one as well. But anyway, that's what I'm going to use. Okay. So let's bring in my supplies. So my card base, this is Misty Moonlight, one of the new / returning colors, because we had this one a few years back and we all loved it. So this is 5.5 by 8.5. And I'm scoring it at 4.25. And as always, grab your bone folder. This is the raised line. So fold into that raised line or into the mountain and give it a good burnish with your bone folder. Okay, so then my layer number 1 is boho blue. Love boho blue. This is one of the new in colors. So we're just going to adhere this down onto our card base. Right, oopsie, it's evenish. Okay, now, like I said, I have got 3 pieces. This is the Countryside Inn designer series paper. Look how cute these images are. Kind of folk art images, little bunnies, little country, so bunnies. This one's got doves and birds, just really pretty. But I'm going to use, since that's going to be a masculine card, I'm going to use this side that is navy and Misty Moonlight striped, and then this side that is kind of maybe a little bit more feminine with little tiny flowers on it, but not too bad. Now I've got 3 pieces all cut the same. These are 3.75, 1.5 by 3.75. I'm going to adhere the middle one on first. I am mostly eyeballing this to get it in the middle. pretty close, hopefully. And then these are going to go on either side, and then you can kind of just, you know, fuss with this a little bit. I don't think I got that quite in the middle, but anyways, close enough. And then these two pieces are just going to go on kind of equal distance between the edges of our boho blue piece. And again, like this. There. So we've got our 3 pieces of designer series paper. Now, as I said, I cut out, this is, or punched out, this is using the 2-inch circle punch. These are, it is available as an online exclusive. It's not in the catalog. So I punched that out of Misty Moonlight. And now I've got a piece of Misty Moonlight, not a piece of Misty, a piece of basic white cardstock. And I'm going to stamp, if I can find it, I'm going to stamp using this Happy Birthday to a Classic. I just need to clean it because I used it the other day, or used it. And if I can find my Stampin' Mist, just want to make sure it's got no other ink on it. There we go. Clean. Now I'm going to stamp using, I think, boho blue. So we're just going to stamp this. And I'm going to stamp it again because I'm going to use the words as well. So from the first image, I'm going to cut out. So you guys all know me. I like to fussy cut. So I'm going to fussy cut around my car image. Just want to pop it up a little bit. And I'm not going to worry. There's mirrors on the side. I'm not going completely, you know, right up to those. In fact, I'm leaving a little bit of white around the edge of the car. Steer with the hand that's holding the paper and not with the hand that's got the scissors, and you'll find fussy cutting much easier. So I'm just kind of going around, and if I get closer to some of the edges than the other, it's perfectly okay. Nobody's going to notice. In fact, somebody said to me the other day, if somebody looks that closely at my card, then maybe they don't deserve to get a card. I don't know who that was that said that, but it's kind of true. All right, so this is going to go on here like that, and we're going to use a dimensional, maybe a couple of dimensionals to put that on with. So there's my car. And we're going to use dimensionals to put this. Actually, I said I was going to use those sentiments that I nicely stamped, but I'm actually not, because I have a sentiment layer that I forgot about. Okay, so we're just going to put that right about there, kind of even on that. And now I've got a piece of boho blue, and I'm going to stamp this one that says "Love This Guy," and that will fit nicely. So I'm going to stamp in Misty Moonlight, if I can get my Misty Moonlight open. There we go. And we're just going to stamp. Well, I guess I want to see how straight this is. Oh, it's pretty straight. Okay, that's good. There we go. Now, this is a little long. It's supposed to go here. I'm going to take and just cut this like that. So I always I give you measurements for the sentiment piece, but it's really a guide because it just depends on what sentiment you're actually going to use. So we're going to use dimensionals. Okay, and that's going to go like that. And then the last thing, somewhere, I have some boho blue. These are the last of my boho blue. These are the in color dots, the new in color dots. So I'm going to just take, they come in 3 sizes. So I'm going to take and put that on there. So that's my definitely blue monochromatic card. Oops. And then the last thing I want, I've got a piece of basic white cardstock. And what am I going to use? There is this #1 stamp, this little #1. Let's make sure the label's on the right way. It is. All right, so let's just take and stamp that down in the bottom right corner of the inside of the card. I could have used designer series paper, but I didn't think about it, so we will do, and then this can go on the inside of my card. There we go. So pretty close to, where's my sketch? Pretty close to what the sketch looks like. Pretty easy card. I could have done all sorts of things to fancy it up, but you know, I don't know. Sometimes the designer series paper can be the star of the show, and I kind of like this designer series paper. I've used a lot of it. Gosh. So if you haven't seen it, it's called Countryside Inn, and it's the blue and all the different blues, and there's white in it in some of the pieces. It's Countryside Inn designer series paper. It's part of the Countryside Inn suite. That is absolutely amazing. All right, everybody, thanks for joining me tonight. I hope you enjoy this. So the sketches should be going live. There should have been one last week, and I will check comments afterwards because I won't see them as they're live, but I will check comments afterwards. It'll probably be the next morning when I check, because I'll probably be sleeping when this actually goes live. So hopefully enjoyed it. Leave comments. Let me know you saw it. Just post your cards if you're part of my Facebook group. I'd love to see actually what you create with this, and use up your designer series paper. All right. Thanks so much for joining me. I hope you have a great week. Hope you enjoyed the sketch. Happy stamping. Bye.